The Minister of Public Safety behaved like a true Liberal this week. He said one thing in private and the opposite in public. In a shocking recording taken without his knowledge, the minister admitted that the gun buyback program is not worth the money spent on it, that it will not be effective in preventing crime, and that it is designed to score political points in Quebec. But, like a good Liberal, he went ahead with his costly, awful program for honest hunters anyway. As he's been deceiving Canadians, gun crimes have increased by 130% under this Liberal regime. Will this Prime Minister finally fire the Minister of Public Safety? The Honourable Minister of Public Safety. Thank you for the question.
And I want to take this opportunity to talk about our compensation program that we launched this week. As you know, 𝐂𝐂𝐅𝐑 will be the pilot where we launch this program. People can register starting on October the 1st. We are making sure that those prohibited weapons are off our streets, but at the same time ensuring that law-abiding gun owners are able to get fair compensation for turning in or deactivating their prohibited weapon, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Member for 𝐂𝐂𝐅𝐑. Well, I welcome the Minister to read this morning's papers. In Le Devoir this morning, they reported the Minister of Public Safety has just done an excellent job of joining the ranks of those who are failing in their duties. The Ontario Attorney General's office was quite harsh, saying the Firearms Buyback program does nothing to address the root causes of gun violence in our communities. That's what the Minister of Public Safety himself thinks deep down. He said so in a recording, Madam Speaker, after being caught red-handed telling the truth, which in itself is a true scandal for a Liberal, and doing nothing about the rise in crime in the country. What is the Prime Minister waiting for to fire him? The Honourable Government House Leader. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, the Minister of Public Safety is fulfilling our election commitments. On this side of the House, we have always tried to make it impossible to use assault-style weapons on our streets. There have been tragedies throughout Canada. Canadians cannot support the possibility that people can access assault weapons. Hunters have told us that they don't need those weapons for hunting. But in this debate, Conservatives have always been against that.
Public Safety Minister says the Liberal gun buyback program is a politically motivated scam and it won't work. But in public he supports it, but in private he calls it a politically motivated scam that won't work. Talking out of both sides of your mouth should be a fireable offence, but it's worse. His job is to keep Canadians safe. Gun crime's up 130%, so he's failed, and he's pushing forward with a program he says won't actually work. What will it take for the Prime Minister to fire this minister?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, in order to have a serious conversation about crime, we need to have a serious conversation about guns, Madam Speaker. We brought forward, as of this week, launched the program in 𝐂𝐂𝐅𝐑 where we are compensating lawful gun owners who are willing to forgo their AR-15 and other harmful weapons, Madam Speaker. In addition to that, we're securing the border with $1.3 billion in investments. We have Bill C-2 right in front of the House, Madam Speaker, that the party opposite, if it's serious about gun crime, can support and pass through the House, Madam Speaker. We are looking...
Member for Dufferin-Caledon.
Let's have a serious conversation about gun crime. The Toronto Police Association says 90% of guns used in gun crimes are illegal crimes. Are illegal guns. Are they going after that? No. They've come up with this $750 million politically motivated scam. Not my words, the Public Safety Minister's words. And you know what else he said? Don't ask me to explain the logic of it. So if we're going to have a real conversation, why aren't they going after the criminals, the 90% of illegal guns that are making our communities unsafe? His job is to make our communities safe. He's failing, and he's admitted it's a scam. Why won't...
The Honourable Leader of the Government in the House.
Here is what's clear, Madam Speaker. What is clear is that on this side of the House, we will put in place meaningful measures to make sure that assault rifles are not available to the people who have perpetrated mass killings and tragedies in this country. That is what Canadians want. That is what Canadians ask for. That is what the Liberal Party has always stood for. What the Conservative Party has always stood for is making these arms available across the country and doing nothing to ban them. Hunters tell us they don't need them to take down a deer.
Honourable member for Bruce Grey Owen Sound.
Madam Speaker, I want to commend the Minister of Public Safety for accidentally telling the truth with respect to the Liberal gun confiscation program. I fully agree taking legal firearms from trained, vetted, and licensed hunters, farmers, sport shooters, military members, veterans, and law enforcement is a waste of money. Out of the $742 million allocated for this gun grab, only $250 million is for compensating legal gun owners, while $500 million is allocated to the bureaucracy for this useless program. Why is the government focused on targeting law-abiding firearms owners instead of criminals?
The Honourable Minister for Public Safety.
Madam Speaker, there are over 19,000 makes and models of guns that are available in Canada, legally available, that people can use for hunting and other sporting activities, Madam Speaker. What is important is that we're taking lethal weapons off our streets, weapons that have been used in mass killings, weapons that have really no place in Canada, including AR-15s that are directly linked to mass casualty events over the last 35 years, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Bruce Grey Owen Sound.
Madam Speaker, I'll remind the government and all Canadians, assault rifles have been banned in Canada since January 1st of 1978. The Liberals have since banned some semi-automatics, shotguns, and 22s based on the fact that they look scary, not on their functionality. This Liberal government would get unanimous support if they focused on criminals, repeat violent offenders, and cracking down on the stem of illegal guns coming across our border. Why is this government so focused on dividing Canadians and going after statistically the most law-abiding demographic in Canada, i.e. legal firearms owners?
Honourable Leader of the Government in the House.
What is mystifying, Madam Speaker, is that Conservatives repeatedly stand in the way of sensible measures to control the propagation of assault rifles in this country, specifically in the face of mass tragedies, of mass shootings, Polytechnique, the Quebec City Mosque, the tragic incidents in Nova Scotia. Madam Speaker, we're putting in place sensible gun control, and what's worse, hunters in his riding, mine, and every riding tell us they don't need a submachine gun to shoot a deer.
Madam Speaker, this government is embarking on a billion-dollar scam to confiscate Canadian hunting firearms. In a recording, the Minister of Public Safety admits that he can't explain the logic behind this program and that police don't even have the resources to carry it out. Public safety is this minister's #1 job. Meanwhile, violent crime remains at all-time highs. It's reckless to go after law-abiding hunters and not the criminals using smuggled firearms to terrorize our streets. So when will this Prime Minister renounce this absurd scam and fire this minister?
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Madam Speaker, I'd like to note that there are 19,000 legal firearms that could be used for hunting and farming, Madam Speaker. We have prohibited 2,500 firearms, lethal firearms such as AR-15s that are used for mass casualty events, Madam Speaker.
Apologise to interrupt the Honourable Minister. The Honourable Member for Vernon Lake Country, Monashee, will be warned one time because it is very disruptive to hear those comments all the time. The Honourable Minister.
There's a clear difference, Madam Speaker. On this side of the House, we believe in the safety and security of Canadians and to make sure that lethal weapons are off our streets. On the opposite side, Madam Speaker, they're about bringing forward American-style gun laws, essentially enabling AR.
Honourable Member for Parkland.
Well, Madam Speaker, this government is not seizing any assault weapons because law-abiding Canadians don't own any. Ukraine was very excited to hear that this government was finally sending them some weapons of war, but they were very surprised to just receive the Cabela's Christmas catalog. Not only are these Liberals incinerating billions of dollars to go after law-abiding hunters, they're also embarrassing us by trying to send gopher hunting guns to Ukrainians risking their lives on the front lines. This is a fiasco. When will this Prime Minister make this minister resign?
Hear, hear.
I can guarantee you one thing: we will never refuse a direct request from the government of Ukraine like we had for free trade arrangements with Ukraine and have it voted against by the Conservatives. That was a pretty embarrassing moment for them. The other embarrassing moment for them always comes, Madam Speaker, when you ask them, what specific gun measures would you put in place over there? Canadians are demanding sensible restrictions on assault firearms that cause mass tragedies. We have a response to that. What is theirs?
In private, the minister told us the truth. In public, he said his words were misunderstood and mischaracterized. Well, let me translate for him. Quote, if I were to redo this from scratch, I would have taken a different approach. Translation, the minister doesn't believe in his plan. Quote, this is a mandate I was given just to put an end to this and move on. Translation, it's about politics, not public safety. Quote, don't ask me to explain the logic to you on this. Translation, this plan won't work. Minister, Madam Speaker, Canadians don't have confidence in this minister. How long will the Prime Minister stand behind him?
Minister of Public Safety.
Probably a good thing that member opposite is not a translator, Madam Speaker. Let me be very clear. Right now, we brought forward a pilot program in Nova Scotia to ensure that the systems we put in place as part of the compensation program works. The program will last for about 5 to 7 weeks, Madam Speaker. We will expand it nationwide across Canada, where all Canadians, all law-abiding Canadians can seek compensation for prohibited firearms, Madam Speaker. That is a very responsible way to ensure that lethal weapons are off our streets.
Honourable Member for York Durham.
Madam Speaker, I admit it is sometimes difficult to translate liberal hypocrisy. But let me tell you what their plan has led to. A crime problem, a gun problem, a leaky border problem, and an illegal gun problem. And you know what that has led to? A Canadians don't feel safe problem. And that's the minister's #1 job, keep Canadians safe. But instead of that, and instead of hiring border officers in the RCMP, he's wasting $750 million on a program he knows won't work. It is the responsibility of every leader to accept the consequence of their actions, however heavy they may be. Will the Prime Minister do that today and fire this minister?
Will Leader of the Government in the House.
Once again, Madam Speaker, we have a perfect example of the Conservatives refusing to offer up a single common-sense proposal to limit the propagation of assault rifles in our country. We refuse to accept the gun regime in the United States, where we see repeated tragedies happen in the streets. We want common sense, restrictions on the ability to possess an assault rifle. Hunters don't want them, hunters don't need them. Hunting rifles are preserved, but assault rifles...
Member for St. Albert, Sturgeon River.
Madam Speaker, the Minister of Public Safety got caught on tape admitting that the Liberals' gun buyback is a $750 million scam, all about gaining votes for the Liberals and nothing to do with public safety. The Minister even counselled his tenant to break the law and keep his now illegal firearm. Given the Minister's complete lack of confidence in his own $750 million scheme, will he do what is right and save his reputation and resign?
Hear, hear.
The Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, in addition to the compensation program pilot that we launched this week in Nova Scotia, we have invested $1.3 billion at our borders. We brought forward Bill C-2, which is in front of the House right now, Madam Speaker, which could be passed. With the support of the opposition, we can pass it today to ensure our borders are stronger so that we can keep illegal firearms off our streets. We also will be hiring 1,000 new CBSA and RCMP officers, Madam Speaker, and we will be making criminal justice reform. It's a combination of efforts on this side of the House that will ensure the safety and security of Canadians.